Hello, I'm Jim Demo with Clark County Close-Up. Thank you very much for meeting with us. Okay, let's start with a little bit of background information. First, what is the role of the Clark County Assessor?
Well, Jim, the role of the county assessor, the most important role that we have is our job is actually to protect the taxpayers of Clark County for ensuring that none of the taxing districts ask more for property taxes than they're legally entitled to. Once we've done that, all the other duties kind of flow down from that, which includes once we've decided that the taxing districts aren't collecting more than they're legally entitled to, and then our next job is to work at how do we evenly divide the property taxes up amongst the property owners in Clark County. And so a lot of what people do is when they get their assessed value notices from us, we are just really trying to determine how we're going to divide up the tax dollars amongst the citizens that the cities and the other taxing districts are allowed to collect.
So pretty much there's a whole figure that this is how much I got to collect, and you divide it between the amount of property, the assessed value of all the property in the taxing district.
Correct. Every taxing district has a highest lawful levy, and most taxing districts ask for that highest lawful levy, and so it's a dollar amount. So let's just say if it's $26 million, regardless of if property values are going up or down, we are bringing in that $26 million for that taxing districts. So we take that dollar that's coming from the taxing districts, in this example, $26,000, divide it by the total assessed value, and then come up with a mill rate, and then that is applied back to each of the properties based upon their assessed value. So when values are going up,
which they are right now,
yes.
Values are going up.
Yes.
Tax rates go down?
Correct.
Okay.
When values were going down, the tax rates are going up. And that's why a lot of times people will see their assessed value goes up or it goes down, and they don't see the amount of their property taxes really change that drastically.
And then one thing we were talking about before the interview, you're an elected official because the idea is that you're independent of other county administrations as well as other taxing districts.
Correct. And that's one of the important things is because my job is to protect the taxpayers and to ensure that we don't bring any more than tax districts are legally entitled to, we can't be beholden to any particular tax district. We have to be elected by the people. And so that's the key crux issue of why the assessor is an elected position.
Okay. So given all this, generally, what kind of steps do you go through to ensure property assessments are accurate?
Well, one of the things that we do, and people need to realize, is what we do is we do mass appraisal. Mm-hmm. So we go out and we take a look at what homes are selling for in the market, and my team analyzes those sales and they come up with a value of the characteristics. And so we come up with, here's what land's worth, here's what, different class of homes are selling per dollar per square foot, and then we take that and we apply it in mass. And the other key thing to remember is that if the sales happen in 2012, that is the key for your 2013 assessments based upon taxes that are paid in 2014. So we're always running a couple years behind. Most of the time people really care about their assessment is when they get the tax bill, and the tax bill is based upon sales that happened 2 years prior.
Okay. So given that, if there are some owners who aren't paying their fair share, who picks up that slack?
Well, if an owner is not paying their fair share, for example, every dollar less that one taxpayer is paying, that dollar is being made up by the rest of the taxpayers around the county, because I am bringing in the budgeted amount that's allowed for that taxing district.
Okay. So given all this background information, your office recently conducted audits of commercial farmlands to determine if the property was actually being used as farms. Can you explain why?
Well, there is a current use program for farm and ag, and people that are in farm and ag, what happens is that they get a lower assessed value. They get the same tax rate as everyone else, but they get the lower assessed value. So if people are getting this tax break because they're farming and then they're not actually farming, the taxes that they aren't paying are being picked up by their neighbors and everyone else around the county, the property owners. And so they can get a significant tax reduction that everyone else has to make up. And I don't feel that's fair to the taxpayers of the Clark County.
How much of a tax break are we talking about? A typical like tax break, like you said, if someone's not actually farming, is there an average?
This dollar amount per acre is significantly less.
Okay.
Typically, the home structure is valued at full value, where you really get the tax break is on the land itself. And when you have 5 acres in Clark County that's going for about $150,000, you're basically getting taxed on about $50,000 of it in current use. It's a significant tax break that they're receiving by getting that break.
Okay. And so what types of parcels? How large are they typically?
Well, you can be in current use farm and ag if you got 5 parcels and up.
5 parcels, 5 acres.
5 acres in a
acres,
parcel, and up, and you can have multiple parcels.
Okay.
But you have to have at least 5 acres and up, and once you get between 5 and 20 acres, you have to have an income of about $200 per acre 3 out of the prior 5 years. If you have 20 acres and up, there's no specific income requirement, but that you are actually commercially farming.
Okay, so that's the kind of the definition.
Yes.
And you actually have to enroll in this program. You're not automatically put in this program.
You have to come in and apply and enroll in the program. And everyone that comes in, enrolls in the program, signs a contract that lays out what you need to do to stay in the program and what happens when you come out of the program.
Okay. So how many parcels roughly have this distinction in the county?
There's about 2,700 parcels in the county that have the current use farm and ag.
Okay. And how many parcels have you audited?
This last, or beginning of this year, we started auditing. We started with about 500. We're asking for a lot of information. It's laid out in the state laws what information that we're looking for. But we're asking for income to come in to show that they've been commercially farming. So they send in their tax returns to show that they've been making income 3 out of the 5 years.
Okay. And what did you guys find out?
We found of the 500 parcels that we took a look at, about 35 of them were not meeting the requirements to commercially farming.
Okay. And so what was the average unpaid property tax bill from given those?
Well, when someone comes taken out, and when we find out they're not commercially farming, we take them out. Mm-hmm. And what they have to do is pay back. Every year we put a market value on property, and then you have a current use value. And the difference of that is the difference between the current use taxes and the market taxes. And so they have to pay back the difference of those taxes for 7 years. Then they have to pay interest on it at 1% per month, so about 12% per year. And then on top of that, there is a 20% penalty for taking the property out of the program or not complying with the program.
Was there an average price difference?
Well, the typical ones that we took out, the tax bill to them was on average $26,000.
Oh, $26,000.
Of
Okay.
all of them total that we took out in the first round, the total bill was about $908,000 that we billed out to people for not complying with the current use program that they signed up for.
And again, so then in theory, other taxpayers have picked up that $908,000.
Yeah, the whole time that they were getting the tax breaks, and some of them getting it, for years and years and years. Everyone else has been picking up those tax dollars and paying them to the different taxing districts in Clark County.
Okay. So how many more are you going to be auditing? You've done 500 out of 2,700, you say?
Right.
How many more are you going to be auditing?
Yeah, we're going to be going through the next, 2,200,
Okay.
making sure that we go through, and it's going to be an ongoing process, because just because someone was farming in 2015 doesn't mean in 2020 they may still be farming. And so we're going to do an ongoing process to ensure that we're always checking to make sure the people that are out there that are getting the tax break for commercially farming are continuing to commercially farm.
And so, and again, you're not actually going out looking to see if there's crops on the field. It's based off tax records, so people could show, yes, I brought in this income.
Yes, it's based upon tax records. Of course, we have to physically inspect property once every 6 years when we're doing our cycle. So a lot of times when our appraisers are out there just looking at a house in general, they see it's in current use. They'll kind of take a look and see, does it look like people, they're actually been doing any farming or not. But the main way that we do it is we do send out and ask for their income statements to show that they've actually been getting income from farming.
So let's say I'm a rural landowner, I'm hearing this. How can I make sure I'm in compliance?
Well, take a look at and you can contact our office, get a copy of the agreement. If you're in the farm and ag and you're getting that break, you need to be commercially farming, bringing in at least $200 a year per acre in that commercially farming. The other option is if you don't want to farm yourself, you can also lease that land to someone that will actually commercially farm it. And so, there's two options. You can either do it yourself or you can lease it to another farmer so that they can use it for production.
Okay. So how does this action help protect farmland?
Well, it protects farmland by ensuring that people are actually utilizing the program that it does. What we have when we're not going and ensuring that people are actually farming is that we have farmland that sits fallow. There's maybe no reason to lease it to a farmer that actually wants to use it for farmland. So they know that we're coming around, we're checking, we're making sure that they're utilizing it for farmland. Then the hope is that the people will continue to farm and get it back into farm production.
Sure. So what's been the reaction to these audits from farmers?
I've been contacted by the head of the Clark County Farm Bureau. Told us it's about time to get it done. Farmers don't like that. When people out there are just sitting on their land, not using it, getting the tax breaks they're not entitled to, because they're making up the taxes. Everyone's making up the taxes, and the laws are set up. Everything is based upon the revised Code of Washington, and so their laws are set up to give certain people tax breaks for doing certain activities. And I don't think anyone likes it when we have people that are getting tax breaks when they're not supposed to, especially in our system where we're bringing in a set amount and shifting taxes onto the other taxpayers.
Okay. We have a couple minutes left, so is there anything else you'd like to share about about your office with the viewers?
Well, I think the key thing that I really like to share about my office is, my staff is out there. They work hard. We work really hard on ensuring that we get the assessments out on time. That helps the cities. That helps all the libraries, the fire districts. One of the key things is a lot of times people will contact our office about high property taxes. One of the items I like to point out to people is that the state constitution has a 1% limit on property taxes, which is $10 per thousand. In most cases, people's property taxes tend to range between $13 per thousand to $15, $16 per thousand. And the reason it's above the $10 per thousand is that your neighbors, your citizens have gone out and they've voted for school levies, school bonds, parks, libraries, different items. And so, if you really want to focus on property taxes, you need to take a look at what benefits you're getting from them and realize that, your neighbors, they're voting for it, and, the community wants the items that you're being asked to pay for. So.
Okay. So if people want more information about the audit program or the general assessment process, where can they check?
They can go and check our website, which
clark.wa.gov/assessor, and we'll put that on the screen. And general telephone number 397-2391, correct? Well, thank you very much for meeting with us, and good luck with the program.
All right. Thank you, Jim.